Good morning, everyone. Dr. Vicky here. 2 days after you saw snow, this is what the yard looks like. Today is the 26th of January. Of course, the garbage truck comes. As soon as I walk out the door to do the video, the garbage truck comes. What do you think of the garbage truck, Charlie? He's like, let me in. I told Charlie that it was raining, but are those people from Missouri, the show me state? He has to see it for himself. And of course he ran away because it's noisy and wet and cold out here. So today is January 26th. It's a Friday. We're just off the full moon of yesterday. Of course, we are still vibrating from that moon. There's a restlessness in the air. There's a sense of having to maybe take some steps that we're not particularly comfortable with, moving out of our comfort zone, as it were, in order to make progress or make something happen. There is a square between Chiron and Mercury today, Mercury in Capricorn. There's a sense perhaps that that being yourself is not necessary, is being judged. It's not safe to be who you are, perhaps. And of course, there are some folks that is actually very true for. But it's a feeling that sort of permeates the day in a way. We do have a square between Jupiter and the Sun that's going to happen early tomorrow morning. And as with aspects, we usually feel them as they approach, and then they sort of peak at the time that they're exact, and then the energy starts to fade away. So the intensity of tomorrow's square is probably felt more today, and especially as we get closer and closer to the evening. The full moon that happened yesterday was very, very intense moon. And for me, it kind of snuck up on me. I had a morning appointment that I had to go to that was lovely and really nothing out of the ordinary. And I came home from that and started working on some things that I'm, preparing to share with you guys and preparing for my class. And suddenly I was beyond exhausted. I got that feeling that I get on occasion when everything in my body wants me to lie down. And so Michael came up and looked at me, was bringing me, I think, a cup of tea and my afternoon tea. And he looked at me, he said, "You look exhausted." And I'm like, "I'm really, really tired. I don't know what's going on." He said, "Why don't you take a nap?" And I'm not really good at giving myself permission for those things, but I figured, well, that sounds like a good idea. And so I gave myself permission. I lay down and I slept to about a half hour before my Kabbalah class, which starts at 7 p.m. here on the East Coast on Thursdays. And I woke up feeling great, refreshed, and like a different person. And it struck me that the intensity of the full moon vibrationally was just so intense that I needed to just not be conscious, quite frankly, and sort of go into that sleep state, which, yeah, I'm happy to do. I love to sleep. Pisces moon here. But then I thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? We had the sun conjunct Pluto, newly back in Aquarius. And the moon was in Leo, which is ruled by the sun. So it's almost as if there was a conjunction to the moon and an opposition to the moon all at the same time. And to just pump up the volume on all of that we had Jupiter in a very tight square to that sun moon, almost as creating a T-square. And if you were to put Jupiter at the top, it would have looked like the top of a balancing scale. And with both, with Pluto and the sun on one side and the moon on the other. Of course, Pluto's sun on one side, that's kind of big and intense, and the poor little moon on the other side, but still sort of enlivened by the fact that the moon was in Leo and is disposited by the sun, which was conjunct Pluto. And so this was an impotent moon, and on the other side of it, it almost feels like we're in a whole new landscape, and we have yet to figure out how to walk through that landscape. And that's what it feels like today. So if you're feeling unsure, it's okay. It's kind of normal. If you're feeling that you want to take some chances that you wouldn't have imagined you wanted to take chances, explore that. Explore, we're all feeling kind of insecure on some level. But it's almost like that insecurity when you start something new and you're like, is this really going to work? Is this really going to work? Should I do it? Should I not do it? And sometimes you do it and you exhilarated and it works and it's great. And sometimes you try it and it's exhilarated and it doesn't quite work the way you expect it to, which is usually the case because that's the way those things work. And then there's those times when you say, oh no, I'm not going to take the chance, and you step back and you regret it. So what I would say is move forward, not particularly confidently, because I'm not sure we can do that at this point, but with an optimistic sort of edge, knowing that perhaps this is the best time as any to take the chance and move forward on something. And step by step, it'll become more evident as to how that's going to work out in our lives, and that perhaps it really is a good idea. All right, I'm getting soaked. My camera's getting soaked, and I'm going to leave you with that. Have a wonderful day. Like and subscribe if you're interested in taking my beginner's class. We are still filling up. You can go to my events page on my website, theseedsoftransformation.com. Events, you'll have the choice between a Monday or a Saturday class, whichever one works better for you. Until tomorrow, take care. Be kind to yourself. Give yourself the time and the space that you need. Take a nap if necessary. And evolve. Namaste.